Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Marketing Your Practice podcast, the podcast where I get to share the marketing and the mindset necessary so you, the chiropractor, can increase your income, your impact, and your enjoyment in practice too. Hey, today's episode is going to be a teaching episode. So I've got my pen to kind of note through here as well. I've got my teacher cap on as well. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how do you make more videos with less effort. Now, I tell you what brought this about. Every week I'm talking with chiropractors about marketing, about video marketing in particular. Many of them making great videos, but one of the common things that comes back to me is this. I made a video, but it took me 4, 5, sometimes 10 hours to make a 5-minute video. Now, obviously, there's no longevity if making a video, and if I want you to make a video each and every week, if it takes you 4 or 5 hours, and God knows 10 hours, that's not something that you can do each and every week. Unless, of course, what you're trying to do is make a feature film every week. Like if you're actually a vlogger and that's what you're doing, then maybe that would work. But as chiropractors, we've got lives to save. We've got people to adjust. We've got minds to change as well. We can't be spending hours each week making videos. We've got to make videos. I'll talk to you about why we've got to be doing that too. So I'm going to talk you through some strategies so you can make more videos with less effort. Now, first of all, here's what we'll cover. We'll talk about why it's essential that you develop an efficient video strategy. I think it's pretty obvious, but we'll talk about that a little bit more there too. There are 3 skills that you're going to need to master if you're going to be an efficient video marketer. 3 skills, we'll talk about those as well. We'll do a quick review of technology as well. So let's talk about this. Again, let me remind you of the strategy. Strategy always comes before tactics. If we have tactics without strategy, we're never going to get anywhere, okay? We need to know where we're actually going. Where we're actually going is the more people in your community that know you, like you, and trust you, the busier and more effortless your practice will be. We want to be 5-mile famous. We want to be walking everywhere around and people knowing us, liking us, trusting us, that we're constantly seen as somebody of value in our community. Now, at the moment, the best way for us to do that is video, but who knows with this metaverse and stuff coming out, maybe it'll be inside the metaverse next. I don't know, but at the moment it's video. Now, once upon a time it was, there are other ways. Just having a website was a big deal. Podcasts are growing. I mean, you're listening to one now, but video is still the very best tool that you should be making. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment, how much easier and more effective would your marketing be if you were able to create a video from start to finished, uploaded inside your social media in 15 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. I want to let you know that's absolutely what your goal should be. Many of my students, once they reach a level of capability, are belting out videos in less than 15 minutes. Great videos. I'm going to qualify what I mean by these great videos because there's a couple of different sorts of videos, but videos that will help get more people knowing you, liking you, and trusting you. You can and should expect to be able to do that in less than 15 minutes. Now, when I'm talking to my students about different sorts of videos, there is a type of video that I will encourage them to make sometimes that might be highly produced. It can be anywhere between 3, 4, 5 minutes long. It has B-roll. So if I happen to be talking to somebody about stress relief and imagine yourself walking along the beach, then, footage of somebody walking along the beach comes up there as well. This type of B-roll and maybe music and other images and stuff like that can be done really easily. These images really boost the professionalism of your videos, but it takes more time to do that stuff. That might not be something that you're creating every week. Maybe once a month or so, you create one of those kind of pillar pieces of content, or you could never create them. I have chiropractors that have outstanding results, have literally, I got a message from a chiropractor just this week, Devon, telling me that since he's been working with me over the last 3 years, he now has his dream practice. He said, it was a beautiful message to have. And he's done that by creating a video each and every week and boosting it out to his community. Much of the stuff that I teach you totally for free inside the Marketing Your Practice podcast. The sort of video I'm talking about really is a very raw, organic feel, 30 seconds to 3 minutes. You pick up your phone, look at it selfie style and share something of value, solve a problem. So there's no text that's needed with it. There's nothing fancy going on. There's no background music, none of that kind of stuff. It's just a simple video from the heart that shares something of value. Michelle Brennan, another community influence member. I love the videos that Michelle creates. She created a wonderful little one in around some pillows. She gets loads of shares with it. She's authentic on there. You can't help but smile at Michelle's videos because you get to connect with her and she's adding value. So her videos get hundreds of views. They get shared lots and lots of comments. because she is being real and raw and adding value. Okay, so that's the sort of videos that I'm talking about. So if you're thinking, man, how can I make one of these fancy videos in less than 15 minutes? I'm talking about very simple, basic videos because that's all that you need to have. Now, there are 3 skills that you need to master if you're going to be able to pull this off. First of all, you need to understand the structure of the video. I'm going to share a little 3-part structure. I've shared this in many different formats as well in the past, but I'll give you another way to think about the 3 parts of the video. You're going to need to master your headspace. Most of this is headspace. And then technology. You got to get good with your technology as well. So let's talk about structure of the video as well. Now, again, another point before I get into the actual structure of the video. If we're going to keep our videos short, if we're going to keep them simple, focus on one key concept. This morning on the Community Influencer Group call, twice a week we get together and I kind of answer anyone's questions and we brainstorm. I had a member, a lovely Irish guy, who wants to share some videos in around stress. He wanted to talk about the stress response and then 5 tips to help people manage it. And he said, I can't get this video under 7 minutes. Now, the solution was this. It's 2 videos. Okay, the first part was really talking about the stress response and how it impacts the body and how damaging it is for people's health. And then another video, he shares his 5 tips to help manage stress. So sometimes what we need to think about with our video is, what's the message I want to share? What's the one key message? So if your video is tending to be too long, you're probably sharing multiple messages inside there. Now, if it is a tip video, like 5 tips, then, if you're trying to get under 3 minutes, then it's probably 3 tips, 1 tip per minute by the time that you add an introduction and then a close in. So tip number 1, or thing number 1 to think about structure-wise, if you're going to have your video 30 seconds or maybe up to 3 minutes, is focus on one key concept. Now, the structure of the video. There are 3 components as you're thinking about what I need to say. Okay, part 1 of the video is you tell them what you're going to tell them. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the missing component in most people's health. In fact, when you get this component nailed, you'll not only live longer, but you'll be happier as well. That would be an introduction. I'm telling them what I'm going to tell them, okay? So it might be where in today's video, I'm going to share with you my 3 favorite exercises for sciatic sufferers. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about 3 mistakes that couples make when they're trying to fall pregnant naturally. The goal of that introduction is really to capture attention and to tease them into the video. It's really simple. In today's video, here's what I'm going to do. Then the second part of the video, tell them, share your 3 tips. Share the mistakes that couples are making that are stopping them from falling pregnant naturally. Share the favorite strategy you have of helping people with, their sciatica. That's where you share the goods, okay? Now, the more different that you can make the goods from a different perspective on it, look from the other side, the 2, then the more likely your video will be to be catchy, okay? So first part, tell them what you're going to tell them. The second part, actually tell them. And the third part, tell them what to do next, okay? They're the 3 parts that you need to think about. Now, maybe I'm going to suggest, unless you're a pro at this, is that jot down a few notes. You don't need to script it out word for word, although lots of people still do, and that works really great for them. But you might want to at least get really clear about how the introduction is of your video, because if you muck up the introduction, people are not going to get into the meat and potatoes, so to speak. So jot down some notes. What am I going to tell them? What are the points there? What are they going to do next? Now, remember, when it comes to what to do next, comment, share, ask questions. If you want a hand with this, give the office a call. We would love to help you, invite them in for an appointment. All of those kind of things can be what they do next. So think about the structure of your video. When we get into a video with no idea where we're going, these are the ones that tend to end up being much longer. And the longer the video, the more editing it takes, the more room there is for mistakes as well. So think about those 3 parts when it comes to the structure. I want to talk about Headspace here because it's a big thing that gets in the way of you creating more videos with less effort, okay? If you're going to be belting out a video every week in less than 10 minutes, then you need to get your head right. And the first thing is this: stop being confused. This is not rocket science, okay? We're not, trying to build a nuclear bomb here. We're not trying to solve world peace. We're not trying to end world hunger. We're making a video with our mobile phone. I just shared the 3 parts of it as well. I love this quote from Don Miller. I love Don Miller. He's the guy that wrote the book Story Brand, amongst many other things. And he says, what masquerades as confusion is often our desire to avoid conflict and our unwillingness to take action. We use confusion as an excuse, okay? There's no need to be confused. If you don't know how to do something, Google it or ask me, okay? Jump on angus@audiomedia.com. Go and find me on the socials. Ask me. I'll tell you, okay? I give away lots for free all the time. In fact, if you wanted to know how to market your entire practice, go through all these episodes, it's all there for you, okay? So first thing with regards to it is get rid of the confusion. Stop telling yourself, I don't know. It's not a useful thing for you to say. It never gets you towards the practice and life of your dreams. There's always an answer there as well. The second thing to think about with regards to Headspace is to develop a growth mindset. Now, many of you will have heard that before. Carol Dweck, in her book, Mindset, I think is what the book was called. She wrote about 2 different mindsets that to a large degree can predict the success or failure of an individual or a team. She talked about a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Now, you've probably heard of these things beforehand, but I want to show you what a growth mindset looks like in place. Okay, I want to share 5 things that people who have a growth mindset do, and maybe if you're not doing these things, then you can start to develop these habits, and it will push you over to being more growth minded. Okay. People who have a growth mindset look at challenges in a very specific way, okay? They embrace challenges rather than avoiding them. So when they see an opportunity for them to learn something new, they leap into it, boots and all. Kids often do this. They love learning new things. They're not embarrassed by failure. They lap up that opportunity to embrace the unknown. Now, as adults, sometimes we move away from that. I want you to start to embrace challenge, okay? There's nothing wrong with failure. I promise you, if you think about all of your mentors, whether they be in the sporting, the music industry, the academic industry as well, they have a history of failure that got them to where they are right now. So if you want to be more like your mentors, embrace failure. People who have a growth mindset look at obstacles in a very specific kind of way also. They persist through obstacles rather than giving up. It's kind of what I was talking about with confusion before as well. So when an obstacle comes up, and it will because you're doing something new that you've never done beforehand, we persist through it, okay? We know that, okay, this is just something difficult. I can do difficult things. That might be a mantra that you want to tell yourself. I can do difficult things. But that's the second thing, okay? So first, they love challenges. Second, they're great with obstacles. And the third is how they see effort. We need to see effort as a path to mastery rather than a fruitless endeavor. That's what Carol Dweck says. So, the effort and energy needed to learn something new. There are times I can literally feel my brain burning glucose, and I know that this is hard, but instead of seeing it as a fruitless endeavor, we can get excited about it. We go, man, I'm a step closer to mastery. Get excited about when that effort starts to happen. People who have a growth mindset also deal with criticism in a different way. As you're making these videos, they're not all going to be a success. In fact, many of them to begin with will be a failure. Very few people might watch them. You might have not be able to get it up posted. You might not be able to boost it. Someone might say something cranky about it as well. These are all things that are going to happen to some of you as well. Not many of you. There's not many times that people get something cranky said about them. But we need to learn from criticism rather than ignoring it, okay? Criticism can be really useful feedback, particularly when we're getting criticism from people that we trust. Okay, so people whose opinion we trust, and maybe you've got family members, not always family members, they can be tricky there as well, but peers of yours, if you want them to look at your video and give you feedback, don't reel back from it, jump into it, listen to what they have to say, because when people are giving you criticism, sometimes it's all about helping you be a better person, okay? So people with a growth mindset really learn from criticism. And then finally, this was an interesting one. So I love this book of Carol Dweck's. If you've not read it, you really should, because it's brilliant. And if you're a parent, it should be on your must-reading list because it will help you raise better kids. I've got 2 big kids, both of them extraordinary, and a young one who's extraordinary also. And I know that one of the reasons that both my kids have been able to achieve so much is because that we worked with them to help them develop the natural state of a growth mindset. It's natural, okay? It's innate, is a growth mindset, but sometimes the schooling system and the world tends to shift people away from it. It's certainly something that we'll be developing with beautiful Sunny as well. So people with a growth mindset really celebrate the success of others. Okay, we must be inspired by the success of others rather than feeling threatened. And so if there's another chiropractor in your state, country, town who's making videos, rather than feeling jealous or envious of them as well, be inspired, okay? Investigate. What are they doing that you're not? If there's a busy practice in town, again, be inspired by what they're doing. Be curious, be fascinated as well. We're open to all of this because if somebody else can do it, then you can do it too. So those 5 things are part of a growth mindset, okay? So challenges, the way they deal with challenges, the way they deal with obstacles, how they feel about effort, how they feel about criticism, and how they feel about the success of others. These are the things that you need to embrace ultimately to help you become the type of person that allow you to make more videos with less effort. Let's talk about technology. Again, this is something that is another thing that's used as confusion and or excuse. What cameras do I need? What microphones do I need? What lighting do I need? Where should I be shooting my videos? In essence, really, shoot, edit, and post from one device. Now, I don't mind whether that is your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop, your webcam, all of those. I have made videos from all of those. In fact, still to date, I made a video very early on about how to give up sugar. I made that from my webcam on my computer there, on my laptop. It probably has more than 1 million views now. Okay, there's nothing fancy about it. There's no microphone. I shared really good advice. I followed that structure I talked about beforehand. I told them what I was going to tell them. I told them, and then I told them what to do next. That video wasn't a success because it was a cinematic masterpiece at all. That video was a success because it was real, it was authentic, and it was valuable. It solved a problem. If you were struggling to give up sugar, then this video was really, really helpful for you. So the technology side of things is just this. Your iPhone is enough, okay? But some of you will want to do this on your webcam, and I've got plenty of people who like to do it on their iPad as well. One of the benefits about an iPad, particularly when it comes to editing, is there's a little bit more real estate there. But it takes time to go from, camera onto my computer and then edit on my computer and then back onto my phone again so I can then upload onto the socials. All of this can and should be done from your mobile device, particularly these little videos also. So you are going to need to get to know your editing software, okay? So you're going to have to watch some tutorials. Now, you don't need to become a world-class editor, okay, but you're going to need to know how to trim off bits where you made mistakes. You're going to need to know how to cut the start and the end, and maybe you want to put a little bit of text up on there, or probably what you should be doing is adding in subtitles. Now, remember, across the social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram can automatically subtitle your videos now. Now, from a graphic design point of view, it doesn't often always look great, but it's effective and it will do it for you. Now, my favorite editing platform on the mobile device, and I think it's on both Android and iPhones, is called Vlo, V-L-L-O. Okay, so I'll say that again, V-L-L-O. It's remarkable what you can do inside of that. It's a great editing platform. Now, when you get on there to begin with, it'll be like you're looking at a different language. That's okay. You'll have to learn how to do it, watch some tutorials, set an afternoon aside. I was chatting with Peter, a beautiful community influencer member, who was telling me, since I've understood and now know how to use Vlo, the time it's taken me to edit and therefore get a video up is halved, because he knows his technology. You have to get to learn to know this kind of stuff too. Now, maybe you want to outsource all of this, and that would be totally okay too. But having the basics, understanding how to trim a video start and end and get a video up quickly is a skill set that I think that we should all learn regardless of how busy we are as well. So getting to know your technology is really, really important. If it's another video editing software that you use, then great. I don't care what they are. There's lots of them out there, but you need to know how to actually use it. Now, one of the secrets for helping you to get and shoot, have a video coming out with less effort as well, is stop shooting your videos one at a time. This is another thing I've been harping on about. And I want to share a little simple 4-week type sort of process here for you as well, where week 1, what I want you to do is plan out your videos. So have a think about what are 4 to 6 videos that I want to make. Brainstorm them, do a little bit of research about what they are. Maybe you're going to focus on shoulders, pregnancy, fertility, whatever it is. Think about 4 to 6 little ideas that you could shoot. Remember, we're focusing on one key concept. Week 2. Now, in order for you to do that, okay, you would set aside no more than an hour to research, okay? If it takes you more than an hour to research it, you shouldn't be making a video about it. It's, you know these things. You're sharing the same conversations with your patients, your community that you are sharing with your patients as well. Week number 2, shoot the videos here. So shoot all 4 to 6 of them. We get into a rhythm and a routine with our videos. And so the equipment's set up, whether you're using a tripod, you've got the flow of things all going, you're making sure that you're in a room that's quiet, that's well lit. In fact, those of you with super hearing at the moment would know we've got some friends of ours over for an adjustment at the moment. And there's a little one having her adjustment, and she's screaming blue murder. So if you've got your headphones in, you might have just heard her in the background. But I promise you, she's okay. But you want to shoot in an environment that's well lit, that's hopefully not too noisy, and where you can get the flow going. So that's what you do week 2. Week 3, edit all the videos. When you get into the flow with editing and you remember what the shortcuts are and how you go about this, you might be a bit rusty for the first one, but by the time you get to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th video, you'll belt your way through them really quickly. And then finally in week 4, schedule all the videos. There's plenty of scheduling apps out there. In fact, Facebook now allows you for free to be able to schedule all of your videos. And again, you can use things like Hootsuite and these other platforms, Canva, that let you schedule your videos all in advance. So remember, week 1, plan out what your videos are for the next month. Week 2, shoot the videos. Week 3, edit the videos. Week 4, all you need to do is schedule the videos. Now, if you put aside 60 minutes a week to do that, that would have you having a really powerful video marketing plan. Now, remember, this plan here is the same plan that I said that Devon used, and this has allowed Devon to build the practice of his dreams. This is all that stands between you, where you are right now, and the practice of your dreams, is more people knowing you, liking you, and trusting you. For the vast majority of your peeps, you probably don't need to get all that much better at what you're doing. What you do need to do is you need to get people knowing you. You are the best kept secret in town. Okay, now I know that you know in your heart, if you need to up your skills, then by all means doing that. And you should be constantly learning. I'm not saying that too. But the biggest thing that most of you can do if you're wanting to grow your practice, have more income, impact, and enjoyment in practice, is just get more people knowing you. That's it. That's all there is to it as well. Maybe I can leave you with another mantra as well. And this is one from Brooke Castillo, another one of my mentors, an amazing individual there. Her mantra is, I'm willing to fail repeatedly for the sake of this impossible goal. Okay. How would life be for you in 6 months' time if you were belting out a video each and every week and it just took 10 minutes of your time? Or maybe you block booked it all in there in that schedule that I talked about beforehand as well. This is the strategy, gang, that'll help you be 5 mile famous. Okay, it really will have you make more income, have more impact, and more enjoyment. Now remember, we're doing this because people in your community really need you. They are desperate for your solutions. They're desperate for your health paradigm. They're desperate to be led as well, now more than ever. Okay, get to it, folks. Thanks for all that you do. Keep saving lives. See you back here next week. Bye. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to come and check out my Community Influencer Program. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and I'll work with you to help you apply it, implement it, and systemize it. The Community Influencer Group Coaching Program is designed to help you increase your practice income, impact, and enjoyment. Join me over at anguspyke.com/join. That's anguspyke.com/join. I'd love to see you there.